Ages ago, as a matter of fact, entire decades ago, I can recall having overheard a portion of a conversation which took place in a preschool, in a nursery school, in a biblical nursery school at that. Now, as I say, it was just a brief excerpt of an exchange between two people who happened to be passing by an open doorway. And in the sense of the Doppler effect, I just happened to be able to overhear this segment of the conversation already in progress as they passed by. Now, paraphrasing, this is more or less what was said from one to the other. Well, do you think we should go ahead and take care of it today? Yeah, I mean, we might as well get it over with. Okay, and you think we should do it right out there in the playground, right there in the sandbox? Well, yeah, of course. I mean, that's where it all happened in the first place, right? Okay, so it's all set then. Bobby threw sand in Timmy's face, and so now Timmy gets to throw sand in Bobby's face. Yep, that's about the size of it. Okay, just so long as we're on the same page. And the voices faded from earshot. Now, for the sake of clarity, let us put things into perspective. Let us suppose that, as most likely did happen, perhaps the previous day or earlier that week, right there in the preschool, out there on the playground while all the children are at recess, one of the preschoolers, all of 3 or 4 years old, a little kid by the name of Bobby, caught up in the throes of horseplay and roughhousing, of the animated antics of the playground, threw a handful of sand into the face of another little kid by the name of Timmy, no doubt getting sand in his eyes, causing him great pain and anguish, and probably a lot of tears. Now, as I say, this was no doubt accidental. It was childish rambunctiousness. But, just to be safe, let us go all the way and further suppose that Bobby is a young, burgeoning bully-to-be, and that he did this on purpose with gleeful, malicious mischief. The deed having been done, it was the deliberation of these two adults, allegedly mature, responsible adults, teachers, educators, counselors, whatever they were, it was their deliberation that, in the interest of simple biblical fairness, this thing that Bobby did unto Timmy, Timmy gets to do unto Bobby. Gets being the operative word. Now, let us further elaborate on what possibly, probably, most likely did end up taking place at that nursery school later that day. These two educators go into the classroom. They call Timmy forward, saying, "Timmy, it's time to go. Bobby, let's go, it's time." And they escort them out to the playground and they position them in the sandbox, directing Timmy to sit down here and telling Bobby to sit down here. And then explaining to Bobby, earlier this week, as you know, you threw sand in Timmy's face. And now Timmy gets to do the same exact thing to you. It serves you right, and now you will know what it feels like to have sand thrown into your face, thrown into your eyes. You deserve this. Bobby, of course, is squirming and squealing, and so one instructor tells the other instructor to hold him down, firmly in place, so that, with his head forced upright and his eyes open, he will take the sand thrust into his face full force. Timmy is then directed, whether he likes it or not, to take a handful of sand and throw it into Bobby's face. Tit for tat. A pound of flesh. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Straight out of the Old Testament. And in the minds of these educators, educators who not only let this thing happen, but who made it happen, who were so hell-bent on making sure that Timmy had his turn, who were not only observers, but who were overseers, who coordinated and orchestrated and facilitated this entire thing, who supervised it. In their minds, these actions were wholly and absolutely sanctified. Two wrongs were forged into one pure and lasting right, by way of a simple, theologically sound, biblical reckoning. The scales of right and wrong were balanced, and blind and perhaps blinding justice was served. My reasons for sharing this ugly reminiscence with you are manifest, but one reason in particular is the need for me to document it here in and now, for the record, to record it for the archives so that at some future date I can refer back to it. I do not know if it will be tomorrow or next week or perhaps 5 years from now, but at some point in time in the future, I will make a reference back to this account, and at that point in time, you will remember this editorial, and you will know why I am citing it.